But now my eye's confused because my natural is to go early, my training is to go late, and now I want to go in the middle. So I think I've overcomplicated myself, and now I start questioning every single turn just for a split second, which sucks on a track and screws up everything consistency wise. So now I'm wondering, how do you know the racing line besides looking at aspects of the track where you see dirt or tire marks
Right.
that indicate somebody else who's fast and leaving some rubber there went that way? Because it seems like if everybody starts with an early inclination and then is trained to go late and then you want to pull it back, it seems more complicated.
From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Captain's Log Supplemental.
Miss Vicky.
Yes, sir.
You know what?
What?
I've been thinking about this Sentinel system.
Yeah. Tell me about the Sentinel system.
So what I was thinking was, we have the one car that's got the aim dash that's slowing us down. Because installing the aim dash is actually, it probably is easy, but it's quite hard the first time. We haven't figured that out yet. The Sentinel system is really easy to set up. So what I was thinking was, why don't we put it in the Lemons car, and we'll worry about the aim data information separately, and we'll kind of break it down into a project, because then we'd have the motorsports video system that we really, really want, and we'd be able to stream it. We just won't have the data inside, but we have the data outside, so we can combine them later. But I think that's a really good solution.
So what does this Sentinel system do?
Well, if it had the aim data, it would have all the data on the screen, and you could see all their telemetry and everything live. But we'd be able to not only record it for viewing after the race, but we could actually watch our car during the race.
Ooh, like on the monitor and everything?
On a monitor, or if you were at home and I was at a track, or if you were at the track and I was at home, depends on who gets the short straw, but we'd be able to watch each other.
It's something I've always wanted to do.
And you know what? If you're driving, you know what you can do on the Sentinel system?
What's that?
You can communicate to me with your hands, and I can't do a thing about it.
Even better.
So, if you need to give a wave or a Jersey wave, whatever you need, we could save it and see it on the screen. And then you can have up to 3 different cameras, and it'll have picture in picture. You'll have the basic main shot out the front window, and then 2 cameras where you put them wherever you want. One could be on the driver, or one could be on the rear view. It's kind of cool.
Then we can upload it onto YouTube.
We could bore millions of people on YouTube.
I love it.
All right. Very well. You know what the only downside I see about this?
What?
Your mom and my mom are going to be panic stricken the entire weekend watching this thing to see if everything's going well.
This is true.
We probably shouldn't tell them.
I like the idea of having a Sentinel.
Mm-hmm. Well, luckily we have one. Maybe 2. Depends on how things go. We're going to try. All right. That sounds like a plan. That's the project. We got to get that ready for the next race.
Sounds great.
All right. Very well. Thank you, ma'am. So there I was, thinking it's been a while since we've talked to Dominating with Dawson. And I'm feeling bad that we're overworking him. So I thought maybe we'd have somebody else come. Miss Vicky.
Right.
Yes.
Who else came?
One of my favorite people, Jeremy Hall.
Sad that I'm not on that list, but whatever. Anyway. So here it is. Here it is, guys. This one, longtime listener, longtime editor, most of the time host, wrote in and said, hey, let's talk about this. So, when you go to an HPDE and they teach you the line, right? And it's almost always, in almost 100% of the turns, it's always a late apex, right?
Yeah.
And then as you progress and you get better and you start trying to actually go fast towards the limit, there seems to be this other line that's called the racer line, or the race line, which is very different. And I thought perhaps we should talk about what those differences might be and how you transition from one to the other.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Because right now I'm confused.
So wait a minute, before we get too far into this, it sounds like you're asking for a friend. Am I understanding this correctly?
Well, this guy, he edits these podcasts, and he wrote in. He wrote in.
Right. Well,
yeah.
Okay, that's narrowing it down for me a lot, because I know there's only one person willing to edit these podcasts.
Well, it's just that guy.
It's just this fella. I've often heard it referred to as like the school line, I guess, or the DE line, but I've heard
school
down
line,
here people say school line, and that's what they mean is a line that has you doing certain things sort of more as a routine for safety and stability than as necessarily being the fastest way. Like, I think with the school line, you're likely to, I'll say one, then you guys can say another one, but I'll start with it. The school line, you're likely to only be braking in a straight line. What do you think?
In HPD 1, HPD 2, 100%. In 3, they start talking about it.
Right. But in general, your basic school line is one aspect I would say is pretty common amongst all of them, is that you're going to be doing your braking and slowing in the straight line. Can anybody else think of another aspect of a typical school line?
School line typically teaches you slow in, fast out with a late apex, just to because it's a safer line.
Mm-hmm.
Is it though?
According to Ross Bentley, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is you get yourself mostly under control on the way in, so that you're not losing it on the way in. That you can do your best on the way out, whatever you can handle. I can't see that. I can't see the benefit of teaching anybody to hustle it in and go slowly out of the corner, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I don't make students do that when I'm in the car with them. I don't skew them toward that. I teach somebody exactly how I'm going to drive the car. I'd teach them how I would do it if I was driving the car, because I assume everybody I talk to is going to want to race anyway. So I don't know, but I'm not good. I'm not the biggest proponent of the school line in my own, practice when I'm teaching somebody else. I'm going to show somebody exactly how I want to do it. But I understand the safety notions of doing it the other way.
Miss Vicky, you're kind of transitioning as we speak. If we
All
could
right.
get you back out to an HPDE, schedule precludes it, but you're.
Yeah.
So where are you in this paradigm? And I'm not talking 20 cents.
As in
Your line. What is your line typically? If you were
what
to
is my line? Right now, I drive. I don't know what you mean by school line.
Right. We were sort of talking about some of the things that make up the school line, but in general, they're kind of coaching you to only be doing your braking in a straight line. Your ideal for getting through a corner is a late apex versus, maybe not necessarily the ideal apex, but you're always going to skew toward a later apex as you're more controlled going in and you're on your own trying to have a fast exit the best you can.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm transitioning through that right now. So as a standard, I'm not in the school line so much anymore, where I'm actually doing more in the brake zones and outside the brake zones. And where
turning
I'm
in the brake zone?
braking.
I'm not sure what you meant.
Well, oh, no, I'm sorry. When I'm actually doing footwork past the brake zones.
Gotcha.
Is before the school line, like you guys were saying, is braking in a straight line. I don't do that anymore. I brake, actually going in more so into the apex sometimes to do footwork in there, fancy footwork. But the other thing that I'm driving to is trying to drive offline so I can make better passes and better without having to wait for the straightaways. I'm trying to read the car now in front of me, and it's kind of a mind bend a little bit for me, trying to figure out how to properly drive offline so I can make those passes, predictable passes.
Yeah.
Predicting the car in front of me forces me to drive offline in order to make passes in the turns. So that's where I'm at now.
That's great. What you're describing is one of the key elements of transitioning out of the school line and into being comfortable doing it anywhere on track. Because when you're racing, you're going to need to be able to be fast wherever you get to be on track, right? Like wherever you're allowed to be when you're not another car, you're going to have to make it work. So what you're talking about, being mindful about practicing your driving offline, that's an important, big, huge step of making it from kind of the school line into the racing line, which is, getting your speed and your passing done anywhere that you're allowed or, is available. So that sounds like a great way to work your way out of it.
Well, the other thing too is I'm trying not to be reactionary when I'm driving, and I'm trying to pass cars and just say, oh, I see an opportunity, I'm going to go take it. I'm trying not to do that. I mean, I do, but instead I'm trying to predict what the car is going to do in front of me.
Right. Yeah. When I'm passing somebody, I like to just be where I know they're not going to be.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky enough and fast enough, they're not even going to know that it's really happening until it's over, or not. I'm not going to impede them anyway. If I can get it done right and plan ahead, even if it means me slacking my pace a little bit before I can get to the pass. I know we're not talking about this, but yes, I think that's really good. A really good way to be thinking about traffic management is planning ahead and trying to get the pass done where it disrupts as little as possible of the flow of the driver you're passing and yourself. Right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but the other thing too is when you're making those passes on the turns and you're trying to drive offline, if you don't do it quickly enough, then you miss it and they're back in front of you again. So that's what I'm trying to avoid, is trying to make sure that I can do that. And it's difficult because you have to trick your brain a little bit. At least this point in my learning, I do. It's like, and it's hard to see it and not just be, okay, I'm on somebody's rear end and I'm just going to go ahead, take this opportunity and pass. Well, you can run out of room really, really fast.
Well,
so
you also don't drive a car with a big throttle pedal, gas pedal.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do a lot of that right now.
Sounds good.
Jeremy. You routinely instruct or I don't know if we call it guide at a one of the experience venues. And what lines are you guys coaching to or guiding to there?
Yeah, I really want to hear about this a little bit more.
We are, when we're instructing with Extreme Experience, obviously 98% of the people that are coming out there to drive these cars and experience these supercars, they have zero track experience whatsoever. So we set the course up for a very late apex and a very safe apex. And by doing that, we get them slowed down a little bit faster coming into the corner, and we apex later, and we can get back on the throttle with them so that they get a better run down the back straight without worrying about the car, coming around on us or twitching. And, by the time they're full throttle, it's just the safest thing we can do, because these are very expensive cars and we don't want anybody wadding these things up. But it's basically, you're taking the what does Ross call it? The geometric line, right? Which is your typical line, the school line, right? But we're pushing that school line a little further to make it a little bit safer.
Okay. Cool. So it's more like a point and shoot in those cars, and take away the side G's and go for the acceleration.
We're looking, most of these people are looking for the acceleration, but we're able to still, on most of these tracks, push a lot of, we're getting, the instructors, when we're running the line that we set out, we're still getting 1.5 G's in the corners. It's just we set it up.
The students are lower.
Yes,
because you're not driving at 10 tenths there. You're driving like 7.
We're driving 6 to 7 tenths.
Yeah.
So it's still the ideal school apex. We would take that apex and maybe, on a typical corner, move it 5 feet further.
Right.
If that makes any sense. But in HPDEs, instructing HPDEs, especially for brand new students, I'm doing the same thing. I'm keeping them as safe as possible. We're taking the school line, and until I feel that they're comfortable enough with their car, track surface, and things like that, then I will start pushing them into braking later, getting offline, trying different lines, because obviously front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, they all turn a little bit different. So, depending on the car, may be a better line to be on to make it a faster exit out of the corner.
Okay. So let's, I'm going to use myself as an example for this question. for our listener who wrote in.
He's asking for a friend.
For a friend, yeah. So when I first started, my eye, from years of driving on a street, it looked right for me to early apex. Like, that was my natural inclination, was my apexes were early.
That's almost everybody.
I'm just using it as an example. So then I go through the HPDE system, and I go through 1, 2, 3, 4, comp school, the whole deal, and everything was late. So I eventually got to a late. So, but now, as I'm transitioning, like if we were to go do, something fun where it would be like a time attack type event, perhaps next year in May, early May next year, where I'm going to want to get as much as I can out of the car, and you're trying to get to a racing line, your apex starts moving back, maybe towards the geometrical line, but it's definitely not late everywhere.
Correct.
But now my eye's confused, because my natural is to go early, my training is to go late, and now I want to go in the middle. So I think I've overcomplicated myself, and now I start questioning every single turn just for a split second, which sucks on a track and screws up everything consistency-wise. So now I'm wondering, how do you know the racing line, besides looking at aspects of the track where you see dirt or tire marks,
right,
that indicate somebody else who's fast and leaving some rubber there went that way? Because it seems like if everybody starts with an early inclination and then is trained to go late, and then you want to pull it back, it seems more complicated.
So I was reading I think it was acceleration, Ross Bentley's acceleration. And he actually talked about that exact thing in the book of, we're all taught exactly what you just said, late apex. But once you get that experience, now you start bringing that apex further back, right? And further into, closer to the middle of the corner, right?
Right. Closer to geometrical as opposed to late.
Correct. And you're going to get to a point where your experience is going to allow you to be able to feel what feels correct in that corner, what feels fastest around that corner. But then you have to, at that point, now you have to start relying on data to tell you if your car is in the correct position through that corner. Does that make sense?
It does.
And I'm not a big data. I just do what feels good.
Yeah. It just seems that we've overcomplicated it.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? I've got the weirdest answer for this, but I know I've said this on our show before, but one of the quickest ways I've picked up speed is seeing what somebody else could do in a car that's similarly equipped to mine. Even the same kind of car or something else, but something that's got similar power to me, similar weight. If I see them doing something faster, I'm going to try to throw a grappling hook onto them and hang on long enough to at least be able to try to start to figure out where is this car beat me. But I don't know. I know that's not a textbook answer, an answer that's going to help everybody. But I've learned a lot just in race traffic or DE traffic, just saying like, hey, what or time trial traffic, trying to figure out where a car that's similar to me that's walking away from me, how are they beating me? So that doesn't really give anybody a go try it tomorrow answer, but I just say there's a lot of value in learning from somebody who's doing it faster than you are.
Right.
So that's one of the ways where I've figured out like, the line I thought was the hot stuff line from this area isn't working because this car is able to gap me, every time we come through this particular section or something like that. So I just like I'm always talking about stealing good information from internet forums. If you can get a consensus of non-dum-dum saying the thing you kind of want to hear and want to go try next on whatever you're diagnosing. I'm the same way with race traffic. If I can figure out, where somebody's beat me in real time on the track, I'll adapt to it that way. But I don't think I've ever been stuck in sort of a paradigm shift like you have, Bill. It seems like you, like, hey, I was this way coming in, then I got trained to be this way, and now I'm trying to work my way back. Like I don't think I've ever been stuck on that either. So I'm having a little bit of a tough time relating. I know what you're saying, but I haven't ever been there myself. Sorry, that didn't really help anybody.
No, honestly, for most of us, that's that helps. The problem is most of us don't think the way Bill does. Bill is an engineer. He's a very intelligent person. So
analytical.
It's that engineer part of him that I think is what is causing the complication with it. So
exactly.
Are you overthinking things, Bill?
I never do that.
I think with this particular topic, I think that you really need someone who is not an engineer to sit right seat with you and just push you to the limit in the corners and tell you where to be.
Ben's going to start taking flight if I don't.
So,
acknowledge.
Bill, do you drive with do you drive with feel pretty much at all, or do you analyze map it out? And
here's the dumb thing that I can't figure out why I do this. I will go study the track. I will study video. I will have notes. I will have a written plan for every single turn, prioritized by turn. And then when I get there, I try and forget it all and just drive. So I like to have a plan in my head, but I don't like to think when I'm driving. Mm-hmm. The problem is that the issue I'm having is my eye. The picture I have in my mind's eye is naturally here, trained to be there, and now I need to find out where in between I need to be, and I'm questioning it as opposed to just doing it.
You need to do exactly what Ben just said. Find somebody with a similar car that is blazing, through corners faster than you are, and find out what they're doing and follow them and see where they are.
But there's so many of those that are faster than me.
I think that, or having somebody get in with you and help you work through. So, I mean, I'm not trying to project. I'm only speaking from my own experience of having reached plateaus before. But I've needed to have somebody kick me the hell off of a plateau and get me going again. And so it might be where you benefit from somebody sitting in the car with you and going, hit it now, turn it a little sooner. You know, just to try something different, even if what they're telling you doesn't necessarily work or apply. Just the exercise of trying something different, you know, at a moment's notice, even if it's somebody, you know, yelling at you from the other seat to try something else. I don't know. I think there's value in that. It seems like you need something to kind of help disrupt your approach and shake it up. And I'm sorry, I'm having a tough time relating to your exact conundrum because nobody's ever accused me of thinking too much about a damn thing. So I'm not there with you. I understand what you're saying, but I can't directly relate. But because I just a slapdash kind of. I'm just going to throw everything at it and see what comes out. If I don't like it, I'm going to try something different next time. But that's my kind of deal. I'm always kind of willing to kind of shake it up and try something, you know, try something incremental or big, whatever it is. If I didn't like it last time around, try something different the next time. And I definitely, I'm not thinking about things like I got to get this apex later, or damn it, I got to reel this apex back toward the, you know, geometrical, you know, ideal. I'm not thinking about that in real time. I'm just got to try different stuff out. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to a couple ways that like people learn differently.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, some people learn through watching, and some people learn through listening, and some people learn through reading, and some people learn through like kinematic or feeling it. And the two things that I seem to get the best result from is either doing it live with somebody in the right seat or doing it live with me in the right seat.
Right.
And then replicating it.
I was just going to say, I've actually learned a lot from sitting in the right seat with people who are very good drivers and obviously, you know, faster than I am, and trying to figure out how are they faster in that corner. And I learn more sitting in the passenger seat with them and just letting them drive, seeing where the car is and what they're doing. I learn a lot from that as well.
I think the thing is for me is most of the time when I'm driving with somebody, they're not faster than me. You know, because by definition, if you're instructing, you're usually faster than your student.
Well, I'm not talking about students. I'm talking about other instructors,
yes,
you know,
yes,
instructors and other racers that you know that are very good drivers.
Yeah, take some more rides, Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
Don't threaten me with a good time. If I have to, you know, I do get a lot out of it because the last time that I had the opportunity was at Grid Life, and I drove with Chris, who's a very good driver. Except we drove in a different car. We drove in his car, not my car, which is fine, except that it doesn't quite match. So right. I think I need to do same.
You should drive with Amanda.
I don't look good in purple and pink, though.
Yes, you do, big guy.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't want to brag. Thanks.
Bill, you really do. I've seen it myself.
Okay.
Man, you throw a pink Oxford cloth on me, I look amazing.
Awesome. Have we beaten this one into the ground yet? Because we're going to do it again sometime. But
yeah, you gotta find some effective way to matches with your learning style to bust yourself off that plateau, right?
I think so. I think I'm my concern is consistency at this point.
Right.
And I'm just concerned because the last thing you want to do, especially when you're coming to a turn and you're worried about turn in and apex,
right,
is have that split second of question.
So you're teetering, you're yo-yoing, you're trying to just get it settled. Is that what we're saying?
I want to have a clear, this is where I need to be, and then how did I do? And sometimes I go in there and I'm like, which one am I aiming for? You know?
Yeah, the indecision is the car killer. You got to get that figured out.
Exactly. And there's certain turns where you definitely don't want to have this indecision.
No, you do not want to have that.
No. So that's something I'm working on. So
this is definitely a work in progress. We'll come back to this, right?
It is. We'll revisit this in the volume 2 from whoever wrote this one in.
Yeah.
That person.
Thank you, valued listener.
Hey, no problem. I mean, they said no problem. Miss Vicky, you've been very quiet. Anything?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm weary these days right
Can't
now.
tell you're coming out of COVID, so no
Yeah.
problem.
I'm so weary. I'm weary.
I'm weary.
It was
It's
funny. We
true.
recorded one the night before she tested positive for COVID, and it was like, "Why were you so dumb tonight?" And then it was kind of like, Vic, the sky is blue, and then like her next sentence was, "What color is the sky tonight?" I'm like, "We just said this, dear," but it's okay. Made sense after that.
It sounds like you probably got some tub time that night, though. You're like, hey, why were you so dumb?
Right. Very close.
This sounds like a one-way ticket to Tub Town.
Tubby time. What time is it? It's tubby time.
That's pretty much every podcast I'm on. Anyway. All right, your waterlogged podcaster signing off from Tom and Andy with Dawson.
Good night. Best of luck.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck, everybody.
I need it.
We don't
I mean,
use the oval. We stay inside.
Oh, you don't use. Okay, so you don't go up the transition then. Okay.
No, none of the oval.
Okay, because everyone I do, we do the oval, and it just sucks.
Yep. Nope. No oval.
So
It was a lot of fun.
Liam's got his permit, right? This is many moons ago, and I decide we're going to take him to an HPDE so he can, get some control and not be an idiot like I was. So Vicky has to drive him down because he can't drive by himself, but she doesn't want to stay. So my mom has to drive down too to take her back, which it's like 45 minutes. It's not that big a deal. But anyway,
no.
So we end up going, and it is dumping, just unbelievable, like monsoon dumping, 2 inches of standing water. Fantastic. And so his first time driving alone in a car by himself is at Pocono Raceway in the middle of this monsoon tsunami thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was fantastic.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. First time driving alone is on track in the middle of monsoon.
That's great.
Tremendous.
Well, that'll teach you some car control.
Me being a good dad, because I'm driving in the other car. He's in his 86, and I'm in, at that time, Vicky had the GTI. So I'm in the GTI going around the track. So me being a good dad, I get out from the track and go, I passed you really bad there. What was going on? Why were you going so slow?
Front wheel drive with traction, rear wheel drive with no traction.
Whatever. Whatever.
That's funny.
He's 16 years old. He don't know shit.